Hi, namaste, and welcome to this video. Today I will be doing a question and answer video for the people who've asked me questions. So every day I get a whole bunch of emails and inbox messages on my Facebook with a lot of questions, and a lot of these questions kind of overlap or are the same questions. So I thought I'd start this whole Q&A thing on my Synchro Shakti channel, so I can address these answers for a wider audience. And before I start, I would like to make sure that I put this across that all of these answers are to questions that have been asked by people who want to know my 2 cents worth on these things. They want to know my opinion on these things. So I'll be simply providing you my perspective, my opinion. This is in no way asking you to change your perspective or change your opinion or say that my way is the truth or any such thing. I'm simply going to put forth what works for me in my journey, because if it didn't work for me, I wouldn't be sharing it. So, having said that, this is my opinion. There's in no way telling you guys that my opinion is the truth or your opinion is not the truth or any such thing. Simply my perspective. So, having said that, let's go directly to the first question. First question is, I would like to know the motivation behind your work, your inspiration, etc. Okay, so these are candid answers, okay? Because I'm just gonna answer them like this. I haven't thought of this, but I'm gonna just go for it. So everything I do under my personal brand Synchro Shakti is is to do with empowering people and to inspire people and provide them perspectives that make life easier for them. So that is my main ideology behind my work as Synchro Shakti. So under that, I basically my main work is I'm a personal coach. I coach people through whatever difficulty it is that they are finding in their life, and I coach them through and I shift things for them in their life. Now, so that's the main thing. Apart from that, I do videos on this channel. I play high conscious music. I take workshops and seminars, and I do scripts, video products, and articles on personal development, self-help, and empowerment. So that is basically the ideology. My motivation and inspiration is very simple. Is that when I was these 23 years of the journey that I'm walking, um, I have at some point needed help. I have at some point needed another perspective. I have at some point needed someone to hear me out. At some point, I've needed somebody to provide me some form of inspiration or motivation or just empower me in some way. And sometimes, even though we must empower ourselves, sometimes we need to be guided, or we need to hear a different perspective, which is why we're all in this journey together. So I mean, all these people on my wall, they're all part of this journey. I have in my journey been helped, and more often than not, many of us just want somebody to hear us out, just want somebody to be there for us. And I have had that in my 23 years of existence. I've had either my own self, or I've had books, or I've had videos, or I've had music that I have stumbled upon that has helped me so vastly in my journey. And that is my motivation to bring this out to other people. For I do believe in some way, some form, somebody out there might be being genuinely benefited by the videos that I make, or the music that I play, or my personal coaching. And so that is the motivation and inspiration behind my work. Who have I been inspired by? All these people, but mostly I love Eckhart Tolle, I love Muji, a whole bunch of higher conscious artists, and all of these people. So my inspirations are just people who are walking the path of empowering other people and making life easier. So, not that life has to be easy. I mean, it doesn't have to be easy, but makes the resistance go away, and we allow life to happen, that sort of a thing. So that is my inspiration, motivation. Okay, moving on to the next question is, okay, this is a big one. What is your idea of spirituality? Okay, hold on. Windows 8. It makes me open up 7,000. Okay, there you go. My inspiration of spirituality. What is my idea of spirituality? Okay, so my idea of spirituality is coming back to our essence. Okay, and I think I've done a video on this, what spirituality means to me. So it is coming back to our essence. In our essence, in our core, I believe that we are pure awareness and pure love. I feel love is the highest vibration in our universe, and contrary to that, on the opposite side of the scale is fear. So, over the course of our lives, we get so conditioned and indoctrinated into so many fear based propaganda and social construct because that's how our society is. We start functioning from a space of fear, and we have like all these layers of ego and issues and all that create our identity. So I believe spirituality to me is the journey back, is coming back to our core essence. So what ends up happening is that we're born with this essence, we're born as pure awareness, as pure love. But in our society, acting from a space of pure love constantly can be a little misconstrued. So we begin to form this layer of sensitivity around that because we're not, we kind of it stings us in some way that we want to be this, but then society is like, no, you can't hug trees. Like, are you on drugs? Just kidding. So we have this layer of sensitivity, and to protect that layer of sensitivity, eventually, when we keep getting hurt and keep getting hurt and keep getting hurt, we form this other layer called the ego around us, right? So the ego kind of protects our sensitivity, which protects our essence. So the journey back from ego to essence is, I believe, the journey of spirituality. And to me, I think it is an ongoing, almost a lifelong process. It could be instant. It could take a lifetime. It all depends on how, what is the path that you're walking on. So that is my understanding of spirituality. Okay. Next question is, do you believe in God, and in what form do you perceive the idea of God? Another controversial question. Okay, I do believe in God. In what form do I believe God exists? Is I believe God is universal consciousness. It is all that is energy. Okay, this is the entire universe from a universal perspective is energy at the end of the day. So God is you, God is me, God is the ocean, God is the universe, God is the phone, God is the mountain, God is the guitar, God is the animal, God is the tree, the spark of consciousness. So the essence I was talking about, I feel, is a unique manifestation of that universal consciousness called God. And so each of us are unique expression of that consciousness, and that's why we're all unique in our way, but yet connected as a whole. So to me, God is universal consciousness. It's not an external entity, but something that's within all of us. It is pure essence. It's love. I would actually keep it at love. I think the purest vibration of love to me is God. Okay, next question. Big question. Okay. What is my opinion on religion? Why am I creating that soundtrack? Okay. Religion to me is something that has been taken literally when it should have been taken symbolically. Now, what I mean by that is that religion is a way of life. At the core of every religion is a spiritual truth because all religions are teaching us compassion and love and unity. But what's happened over the years is that religion has become this fear-based institution. So people are now going to churches, mosques, temples, and other religious establishments out of fear. They're coming from a space of fear that if I don't go to church, if I don't go to the temple, and I don't do my prayers, God will punish me. But God is essence, God is love. So I believe that religion has kind of broken off from the essence of love and has become a very fear-based establishment that is almost designed um, to keep people in a fear-based mentality. So it's like what happened over the years is that knowledge brings power, and knowledge to people who had that knowledge, people on the other side of the religious establishment, who were higher ups in the religious establishment, they were kind of holding in knowledge, like they weren't freely distributing knowledge, and knowledge is supposed to be kept secret. So as knowledge was supposed to be kept secret, that people were not being given that awareness, or that access to expand their awareness, and that openness to question what they're being taught, or to question life, or to ask higher up questions, and they were promised that their answers lie within what the establishment is telling them. So I believe religion has now become a very literal interpretation of certain um, concepts that have also been adulterated over the years. So it's like knowledge has become watered down. A lot of the truths have been taken out. So it's become a very fear-based establishment, I feel. But at the core, religion is truth. The core religion is a symbolic truth, which is called spirituality. So spirituality is asking people to come back to the spirit, the inner guide, the inner oracle, at least quote unquote spirituality. And I feel religion has taken a tangent off of that, and is now is telling people this is the only truth, and this is the truth and nothing but the truth. It's literally like keeping people in a fear-based mentality. If you don't do this, you'll go to hell. If you don't do this, God will punish you. If you don't do so for me, God is love. So when I go to a temple or a church or a mosque, I would like to go from the perspective of love for God, for love for who I am, for love for everybody else. And God is love. So God did not just create people of that particular religion. He created everyone, right? If that is the perspective we choose to take. So if God created everyone, and God is love and He loves everyone, we should love everyone and love God. So at the end of it, the ultimate truth comes back to love, which is the essence of spirituality. Okay, next question. What gateways does music open to you? Okay, so what gateways does music open to me? I'm guessing you're asking this sort of literal and metaphorical, so I'll address both the dynamics. So metaphorically, music opens up the gateway to God. Okay, I feel like I can God, consciousness, essence, love, truth. I feel that in me playing music, I can connect to God and connect with God within myself and God within my audience. So if you're somebody who's actually come for any of my shows, I play kirtan and higher conscious music. If you've come for any of my concerts, you'll see that it's the one of the biggest intentions is to have people connect to themselves, connect to each one of us, and we become this community of love and connection, and that to me is God. So I feel music has definitely opened up the connection to each other, connection to myself, and connection to God, metaphorically. Uh, Literally, on a physical plane, music um, has opened up the world for me to bring my mission to empower people to the world. So music has opened the gateway for me to bring my mission to the world, to bring it to the physical realm, where I'm not just doing things online, but I'm going, playing multiple shows, and I'm connecting to, so many people every single show, and I'm able to bring my mission out there and be recognized, uh, and have that mission be recognized, and do it's allowing me to do um, play my part in the mission of shifting human consciousness. So that's what music is doing for me in regards to what gateways it's opening. It's opening the gateway for me to do what I came here to do. So it's opening the gateway for me to be living my purpose in life. Okay, next question. Um, does having a Facebook page enhance your outlook in any way? Does having a Facebook page enhance your outlook in any way? I'm not entirely sure what this question means, but if you're asking me, does it expand my understanding of the world or understanding of the self or any outlook in any way, then yes, definitely. I absolutely adore the power of the internet. I adore social media. I think as anything, you can use it for the good and the not so good. So, um, to me, I feel the internet, uh, Facebook, is this place where you have all this information that's condensed, especially if you're friends with people, or you have subscribed to pages that bring out really amazing content as far as spirituality, personal development, self-help, or just anything as science, or just knowledge. When it brings it out in a condensed form, it definitely is very broadening as far as you're constantly learning something, you're constantly seeing different perspectives. And for me, I'm somebody who will jump into everything very deeply, and I love to explore everything. Like, I love to get to know everything, whether it is learning about Catholicism, or learning about theology, learning about spirituality, learning about Hinduism, or learning about the symbolic understanding of Hinduism, or science, or anything, music. I get like head deep into it, and I think Facebook is a brilliant platform. Social media in general, brilliant platform to enhance, open anybody's outlook on anything. It definitely gives us a lot of perspectives. Not to say that those perspectives are the truth, but it definitely shows us a lot more than we can see on traditional media. So yes, in that sense, Facebook definitely can enhance my outlook. Okay. Second last question is, would you consider yourself an advocate for individual liberty? Would I consider myself an advocate for individual liberty? Yes. Individual liberty from a space of love, individual liberty that is not harming yourself or another being. Yes, I'm a huge um, advocate for doing what you need to do, for walking your own path, for listening to your own inner sage, doing what you need to do as long as you're not harming yourself or harming somebody else in the process. So, yes. Last question. What constructs in society do you think are damaging and misleading? What constructs in society do I think are damaging and misleading? So, when you say society, do you mean our Indian society, or do you mean society in general? So, I'm not entirely sure which society you're referring to, so I'll answer on both dynamics. In the Indian society, the constructs that I find most damaging and misleading, the things that come into my mind immediately as of now is, I mean, this is a really deep question, so I have to like think a little deeper and probably give you a more detailed answer. But you let me know if like these answers are not as per your how much content you need to be given a satisfied answer. You let me know. I'll definitely answer it in more detail. Uh, the first construct that comes to my mind is the education. I think in our country, in the sense that education is definitely valuable, and I am 100% for educating everybody. But what the construct I'm referring to is the concept of linking the child's self-worth, or linking the child's understanding of worth to their academic performance, to their social performance, to their getting into the right college, to their getting the right job, to their marriage, and however this progression works in our society. I think there is a lot of children, myself included, when I was in school, who cannot study off of textbooks, and we were made to think that we were. I mean, I mean, almost every teacher has told me I've been completely like hopeless. And I mean, I've been a bright student, but just not. I was very bad academically, like horrible. I was just barely passing, and that was somehow in our society, being bad academically is tied into your self worth and your self esteem. So it doesn't matter whether you're brilliant in other things, but if you're bad in doing your studies, you're just not worthy. That's how our society makes it look. And there are a lot of kids who can't study off textbooks. I can't study off textbooks. I started doing very well in academics once I had the internet. I had access to the internet and access to videos and such, and that's how I started doing well, because I learned through videos and audio. I don't learn through textbooks. So I think the whole thing that somehow getting the right job, getting into the right college, doing brilliant in your academics, is somehow makes you a better person. I don't agree with that, and I find that highly misleading, because it took me so much of, and I continue to so much of work, and I continue to do that to kind of bring back my self-esteem to some sort of normal by recognizing that I don't have to be perfect society, perfect when it comes to my academic performance for me to feel any form of worthy um, in life, you know. The second construct comes to me is marriage. Um, this whole thing of you have to get married before a certain age. If you don't get married before a certain age, no one will marry you. Fear-based conditioning. Our entire planet works on fear-based conditioning. It's like you do this or this will happen. Not do it because you love to do something, but do it out of fear because if you don't do it, this will happen. And this is something I do not agree with. I feel you can get married if you want to get married. You can get don't get married if you don't want to get married. A lot of the social constructs that say if you don't get married at this age, no one's going to marry you. Highly misleading, highly destructive to a lot of people because they get pressured into doing these things. Again, same thing, getting a high paying job. I mean, these are across societies. I think it's not just our society as the Indian society. I think these are across societies. So, these are concepts I do not resonate with as much. Again, the same old stuff, marriage within caste, outside of caste, interracial marriages. Um, I think I feel people should be allowed to do what they want to do out of space of love. That's it. That's my end all philosophy. All of what I'm doing is do what you need to do out of space of love for yourself and your path. Any other social construct that I feel is misleading? I think in the world generally, concepts of war being the only solution to peace, highly misleading. The concept of um, the that other people somehow know what's best for you, highly misleading. I wouldn't say that it's like the case 100% of the time because sometimes the other people do know what's best for you, but I'm saying generally how we perceive things in our society. I'm sorry, I can't think of too many things right now, and it's because there's such a sociology based question which I haven't like thought of. But yeah, these are the things that I feel are misleading. Um, Girls in our society, we have very limited options for lifestyles, for thought, for I of course have broken all of those norms, and I'm sitting on the internet and talking about stuff. My parents constantly have other people tell them like, "How are you letting your children do what the heck they want to do? Why?" But I find it very misleading that girls can do certain things, guys can do certain things, that you can only do certain things in this lifetime. Um, that somehow everything is limited, everything means something or doesn't mean something. Uh, I personally believe in a world of infinite possibilities, and your identity has nothing to do with what is possible for you and what's not. So yeah, those are the constructs that I find damaging, misleading. So I hope I answered your questions. Anybody else who has any other questions you'd like me to put my opinions on them, please go ahead and comment in the comment section. And thank you. I hope if these answers are not satisfactory, please inbox me and tell me, and I shall answer them a little more detail. Like actually sit and think about it. But yeah, this is it, and thank you for watching. And I'll catch you next Q&A session. Namaste.